Today, I want to invite you to do something a little different. We're not just going to read a poem, we're going to step right inside of it. We're going to feel the frost, see these incredible stark colors, and hear the sounds of a masterpiece from over 1,200 years ago from China's Tang Dynasty. This is all about immersing ourselves in the world of the poet Li He. So, you ready? Let's get into it. So let's start with the title itself, Yanmen Taishou Xing. It translates roughly to something like Song of the Yanmen Governor. And Yanmen, well, you gotta picture this. It was this crucial pass on the Great Wall, a place that saw constant, brutal conflict. The title gives us a clue, though. It's not just a poem, it's a sing, which is an old ballad form. That means it was meant to be sung. It's a story of life and, well, death right on the frontier. So let's listen to the story Li He wants to tell us.
黑云压城城欲摧，甲光向日金鳞开。角声满天秋色里，塞上盐汁凝叶子。半卷红旗临易水，双重鼓寒声不起。报君黄金台上意，提携玉龙为君死。
Alright, so now let's really journey through this poem line by line. We're going to start with this incredibly stark visual clash that just throws us right into the middle of this epic scene.
黑鸳鸦层层欲摧. In this opening line, the poet writes, well, he paints this picture of dark clouds pressing down on the city. It's so heavy, so oppressive, that the city walls themselves look like they're about to break. That key word here is ya. It means to press, to crush. And you have to understand, this isn't just a storm. No way. This is the weight of an entire enemy army. It's this feeling of absolute, suffocating doom. 甲光向日金鳞开. And then, right after that darkness, listen to this. Talk about a sudden shift. Out of all that gloom, we get this flash of defiant light. In this line, what we're seeing is the sun catching the soldier's armor, and it glints, it flashes like Jin Lin, which means the golden scales of a dragon opening up. It's just this one single, brilliant image of hope, pushing back against that overwhelming shadow. So, do you see what he's doing here? This contrast is everything. In just 2 short lines, 14 characters, Li He has painted the entire conflict for us. It's darkness versus light. It's despair versus hope. I mean, this is an absolute masterclass in poetic imagery. And this clash is going to set the stage for the rest of the poem. It establishes these impossible odds and the incredible spirit of the people who are facing them. Okay, let's move on to the next pair of lines and see how he builds on this. The poem starts to shift here. We're moving from that purely visual clash of black and gold to the sounds and the much deeper, almost tragic colors of the battlefield. 角声满天秋色里. So the bugle calls are filling the sky. But, and this is so important, notice the context he gives us. In autumn's colors. This isn't some heroic triumphant blast. Not at all. It's a lonely, mournful sound that just gets lost in this vast landscape of dying leaves. That call to battle is almost swallowed up by the sheer emptiness of the frontier.
在上胭脂凝叶子.
And then we get this line. This is one of Li He's most famous and, frankly, most chilling lines. He writes that on the frontier, yanju, which is rouge, makeup for the living, it congeals into a deep purple in the night. What an image, right? It's so startling. It just forces you to stop and ask, what on earth is he talking about here? Well, there are a couple of ways to look at this. On a purely literal level, it could be the soil. This region was actually known as the Purple Frontier because of its soil color. But the poetic meaning, that's where it gets really chilling, and it's almost certainly what Li He meant. The rouge isn't makeup, it's blood. It's the soldier's blood, spilled during the day, that's now freezing in the brutal night. It's coagulating, turning from this vivid red into a dark, lifeless purple. It's a brilliant and horrifying way to show us the grim reality of the battle's aftermath. So the focus of the poem, it shifts again right here. The heat of the battle seems to have paused, and now, under the cover of that cold, dark night, something desperate is about to happen. A stealthy, determined night march. 半卷红旗临易水. I want you to really notice the detail here. Half-furled red banners. Why half-furled? Because they're moving in secret, trying to be quiet under the cover of night. And the location, the River Yi, that is absolutely no accident. This is a huge historical callback. He's referencing the assassin Jing Kai, who stood at this very river and made a famous vow right before his suicide mission. Li He is telling us straight up, this is a mission they are not coming back from.
双重鼓寒声不起. Now, think about the sound, or really, the lack of sound. The line says, the frost is heavy, the drums are cold, and their sound won't rise. The cold is so intense, so profound,
It's literally dampening the war drums. They can't even make a proper sound. It's just a masterful metaphor for the army's mindset, isn't it? There's no triumphant call to arms here. There's just this heavy, silent, cold resolve.
And that brings us to the final couplet. You have to ask, right? Why? Why this suicidal bravery? What makes someone march into certain death? Well, the poem's conclusion gives us the answer, the core motivation. And it's not for glory and it's not for treasure, it's about loyalty. 保君黄金台上意. Okay, to really get this line, we have to unpack what the golden platform is. This is another one of those really important historical references. So, the golden platform. It comes from this legend about a king Za. The story goes that he built this high platform and put gold on it basically as a way to recruit the most talented people in the land to come serve him. It became this powerful symbol of a ruler who genuinely, sincerely valued and respected his people. So you see, these soldiers, they're not just fighting because it's their job, they're fighting to repay a debt of honor. They're doing it for a leader who has shown them incredible respect.
其血又龙为君血.
And this all culminates in the final, powerful vow. Wielding the jade dragon sword, for you, my lord, we will die. Just stop and think about that name for a sword, Jade Dragon. Jade, which stands for something precious and beautiful. And the dragon, a symbol of mythical power. It's the perfect summary of the entire poem, isn't it? It's about something terribly violent that is also somehow sublime and beautiful. A beautiful death for a cause you believe in.
So let's just take a step back for a moment and look at what Li Sam has built here. In just 8 short lines, I mean, think about that. He's given us this complete, totally timeless story about what it means to be human in the face of conflict.
And that's really the enduring heart of the poem, right? It's all about these huge themes, unwavering duty, a kind of loyalty that's built on deep mutual respect, and of course, the ultimate sacrifice. Li uses the brutal, stark reality of the battlefield, all those unforgettable colors like black and gold, red and purple, as a canvas to explore the deep convictions that drive us as people to face absolutely impossible odds.
And that really leaves us with one last thought to chew on. The soldiers at the River Ye, they knew their answer. Their vow was sealed in the cold and the silence of that final march. It kind of forces us to look at our own lives and ask, what's our golden platform? What belief, what person, what vow is worth everything to you?